Good morning. I'm Mr. Muneer, Tabarak, teaching grade 12 bilingual. Welcome to Tabarak Private School educational platform. We have to thank our respected chairman, Mr. Yunus Al-Rahbi, for connecting the school with the students through this educational bridge.
Hello my dear grade 12 students. Today we are going to study persuasive writing. In your final exam, semester 2, first writing will be persuasive or narrative writing. Persuasive writing means opinion writing, and narrative writing will be story writing. So, persuasive writing will be an easier task than narrative. Here, you only give your opinion with arguments and examples. So this will be an easy task, but you need to write 200 words to get 20 marks. Today we are going to study the techniques that you can use to make your persuasive writing more convincing, more interesting, to score high marks. What is persuasive writing? It is the art of getting someone to agree with you, buy your product, what for, see your point of view, whatever. For example, you wanted to support social media. So, your writing should be convincing for the readers that social media is really good, or a product, or even a service, or anything, any topic. So you get the readers to your viewpoint. This is persuasive writing. So you need to persuade the reader to come to your viewpoint. So what are the techniques that we can use? It includes a logic, reason, emotion to convince the readers to join, writer in a certain point of view. Alliteration. Alliteration is a literary device. This device can be used as a convincing language device to persuade the reader to come to your viewpoint. Alliteration means repeating the first sound of different words, like a short, sharp shock, or tongue twisters like she sells the seashells on the seashore, bread and butter. So these are all examples for alliteration. What is the use of alliteration? When you use alliteration in your argument, that sound or music or rhythm capture the attention of the readers, and that will be stuck in the reader's mind, which creates an effect. For example, to argue like that makes those people cruel, calculating, and corrupt. So, K sound or C letter means K sound is repeated, which creates an effect. The next technique is repetition. It can be repetition of words or phrases to emphasis, and it makes the words stick in the mind of readers. I will not read blogs when I should be working. So any repetition that you use will be interesting for the reader. Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. So repeating I do not like is a technique of repetition which creates an effect. Then rhetorical questions. What is a rhetorical question? This type of questions so obvious that the writer does not think the question requires an answer. So you do not need to answer the question, but these questions are asked only to give stress on a point or to lead into the topic It forces the reader to think about the question to reinforce a point. For example, normally, don't vote for McGregor. It does not keep his promises. So when you use rhetorical questions here, McGregor, why should you want to vote for somebody who does not keep his promises? So using a rhetorical question makes it even more effective. Then metaphors and similes. As we find several metaphors and similes in poems, here also you can use metaphors and similes. Metaphors and similes are used in figurative language to compare and contrast different objects or ideas. These are formed when words are put together so skillfully they conjure up pictures in the minds of readers. These are used as persuasive devices. A simile makes comparison using like or as. For example, the stock market is like a roller coaster. So here, the stock market is compared using like to a roller coaster. These are some examples for similes. A heart is like gold, simile. And metaphor, a heart is gold. The world is like a stage, simile. The world is a stage. This way, you can use similes or metaphors to make your writing more organized. Emotive language is the next technique. Emotive language is words or phrases that elicit emotional response from the reader. For example, this one can make the reader feel happy, sad, angry, guilty, and so on. It can be any emotion. For instance, the innocent bystanders were injured elicit more emotion that the bystanders were injured. So here, the use of innocent makes it more emotional. So this creates an emotional effect in the reader's mind. Don't make our heroes beg more. This is even the picture of a soldier, and talking about our heroes, it's an emotional way. So this is the use of emotive language to make your writing more organized. Next technique is hyperbole. Hyperbole is the use of exaggeration in your writing to persuade the reader. It is used to evoke strong feelings or create a strong impression. For example, I told you a million times, my mom baked a cake to feed an army. So this way, when you exaggerate something, your point or argument becomes more effective. Evidence and statistics. You may think that you do not know much ideas, or you do not have much statistics or evidence to support your answer. But don't worry, you can create something your own using the knowledge that you have. For example, 90% of students in Oman do not do their homework. It can be true or not, but it is according to your viewpoint. Or here, you're writing a persuasive piece under test conditions. You will not have the luxury of looking statistics and evidence upon Google. So what do? You make them up. You create something and write it. Now, this is a paragraph plan that you can use. Introduction. First paragraph. Make general remarks about the subject and state your opinion clearly. So here, do not talk about the positive or negative sides of the topic, but talk about general remarks, what the topic is. Then, second and third paragraph can be your viewpoints and justify them with reasons or examples. Each viewpoint is presented in a separate paragraph. Then the fourth paragraph can be the opposing viewpoint. Here you give, like on the other hand, many people argue that, and give others' viewpoints. Then the conclusion, you state your opinion, again briefly in different words. These are some tips for you. To introduce points, you can use words and phrases like, firstly, to begin with, in the first place, one point in favor or against is, one advantage is, one disadvantage of internet is, and give. To add more points, you can give, secondly, what is more, furthermore, in addition, a further advantage of dash is. Now, to make contrasting points on the fourth paragraph, opposing points, however, on the other hand, although, in spite of, in contrast. To conclude, in conclusion, to sum up, on balance, all in all. These are some phrases. Now, here is a homework for you. Violent video games are a major cause of behavior problems in many teenagers today. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Give reasons and examples to support your answer. Write at least 200 words. Hope you enjoy the lesson. Thank you all.
Homeworks and other activities are downloaded on Moodle on Tabarak website. If you have any inquiry, email to Tabarak Private School.